Good morning, good morning, good morning. Carl here again, your little old everyday mystic. Gonna launch into, I suppose it's another missive on how I got here. I use me as the contrast, my past as the contrast to who I am now. I'm not particularly saying that I'm any paragon, any shining light, or any single person to follow. But I am saying that if I, with all my limitations, my flaws, my faults, and everything that could possibly have held me back, if I can reach the point in my life where I can tell you that I am happy for the most part, I'm at peace pretty much every day. And even in the days that aren't great, I have the capability to look beyond them and say, this will not define how I go through life. I suppose the reason for that, if I start at the start, is I survived pretty much every trauma you might want to imagine, from certain deprivations in my childhood, hunger, violence, assaults of almost every kind, type you can possibly want to imagine or not want to imagine. And for a long time, that's exactly what I did. I survived. I was in survival mode. A lot of the time I was fight or flighting. A lot of the time I was fighting. And when I wasn't fighting, I was running. Running from relationships, running from myself, running from the truth, running from awareness. An awareness that I should have had, because I was very lucky in some of the choices that I did make. Took down the martial arts route, and that put me in touch with people who were thinkers, philosophers, people who had ideas and ideals. Some of them rubbed off and some of them didn't. So where did that get me? It got me to a point in life where I had a cataclysm, and due to the cataclysm I had an awakening. It's a nice way of putting it. I had a realization. It was that moment. That moment that made me think, I have to make a different choice. And that's where I started making my changes. And that's how life changed for me. I think the world boils down to 4 types. The cataclysm and the realization of change is type 1. The cataclysm and the refusal to realize change, the externalization of what's happened into being somebody else's fault, some external reason, some extraneous force acting upon me. I don't change, I just become more of what I was. Then there's the person who has the slow light of realization, that slow dawning. No major cataclysm, just lots of little things in their lives that they realize over time. I want to change this, I want to make this bit better, I want to make this bit better, I want to feel better about how I live my life. No major realization, just lots of little ones, and it trickles through. Then there's the other person who point blank refuses to see anything wrong with their life. Point blank refuses to want to see anything change, and who will say, why me? And who will give external factors as to why life is the way it is for them. They'll also give external factors as to why life is the way it is for you, because they'll want to convince you that you are in the same boat as them, because that convinces them that you're in the same boat as them. And that brings me to, I think, the point of this morning. That person who only sees life from why me, that person that only sees that life is happening to them and is outside their control. You can't fix that person, no matter how much you want to, no matter how much you try. You can't get them to see. Either they'll have a cataclysm and they'll see, or they'll have a cataclysm and they won't. They will have the slow dawning realization, or they won't. But for the most part, that particular type of person will not change. And you are wasting energy in trying to make them change. You cannot fix someone who does not believe they are broken. Because they're not broken. They just make poor choices. Poor choices based on the habits they've learned over a lifetime. You are not responsible. I'm not responsible. They are responsible. And whatever outcomes they have in life, it's not for you or I or anybody to bear the responsibility for them. That's not easy for most of us. It's not easy for me. I know people like that. I've been that person. You know, pre-cataclysmic, oh my godness. Anyway, the up and down of it all you can do is hold a space open for them. If that is your responsibility in anybody's life, then that's a good one. And that's as much as you can give them. You hold a space where they can feel safe, even if they don't take it. You always have the space there open for them that they can grow into. They may never grow into it. That's not on you. All you can do is love them. All you can do is continue to show them that despite their best efforts at being a why me, despite their best efforts at sabotaging their own lives, that in some way you will always hold a space open for them if they choose to walk into it. It's like having a spare room in your house. You very rarely go in there, but it's always available when somebody comes to stay. It's always a nice place, because it's the kind of place you'd want somebody to visit. Well, that's the space you hold open for people. You hold open a nice space that's inviting, and you hope they walk into it. What you don't do is you don't keep on issuing the invitation. You don't keep on making plans for them to visit. They'll disappoint you every time. And you will bear the responsibility of that disappointment, because you'll think that it's your fault, it's your responsibility, it's your failure that has made this happen. It's not. It's their inability to see that there is a space held open for them. That's the real truth. That's seeing life properly, clearly. That's acceptance. You have to allow that person to just run their course. Help them whatever way you can to deal with the fallout. Sometimes helping them to deal with the fallout will be simply allowing them to bear the full responsibility of what they did or didn't do. Because sometimes by helping them with their responsibility. We enable them because we teach them that somebody's going to come and get me, somebody's going to bail me out, somebody's going to be on my side, and therefore I can't be all that bad and I can't be all that wrong, can I? If somebody's prepared to come and help me. Sometimes you just gotta say, nope, nothing I can do to help you here. You're just gonna have to solve this one on your own. But when you have borne the full responsibility of it, I will be here to support you and to help you after that, after you've accepted responsibility. So there you go. That's this morning. This morning is be yourself. Spend your energy where it's useful. Don't be trying to drag a horse to water and forcing it to drink. It'll only do it when it wants to. It'll do it when it's thirsty. You can issue all the invitations to somebody you want, but you can't kidnap them. That's illegal. So you can't force them. You can only give them the space and hope that they grow into it. And that's today. Have a good morning.